Hey, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to the class. Thanks a lot for being on time. I see it's like the full house on time. Before I proceed, can you please confirm that I am audible and you can see the screen? Thank you, guys. Well, today we're going to talk about auto scaling. So, part of today's discussion, we're going to talk about what auto scaling in general, what the concept of auto scaling and benefits of auto scaling. We'll talk about auto scaling plans, that is maintain current instance level, manual, scheduled, dynamic. These are the four different auto scaling plans on how you can automatically scale your infrastructure. And then we'll talk about auto scaling components such as auto scaling groups, launch configuration, and the scaling plans that you saw, the four scaling plans. And finally, auto scaling and ELB together, how it become a powerful solution, right? So that's it. Let's quickly get started. So the advantage of deploying applications to the cloud is the ability to launch and then release the servers in response to variable workloads. For example, provisioning server on demand, then releasing it whenever you don't need it will definitely give you a significant cost saving, isn't it? When you need a server, when you need more capacity, maybe let's say you need four servers to support your application demand, well, you have provision four. And then when you don't need it, you should be able to uh, release the servers on demand. It's like the dynamic without disturbing your application, the current application environment and the users. If you can release the servers back, that really saves a lot of cost for you. That is exactly what auto scaling does for you, right? For example, a website for a specific supporting event, maybe end of the month that you do a payroll for your employees. Maybe every quarter you run the quarterly business analysis reports, or maybe end of the year, maybe during the March, that you submit your income tax submission. So on a specific event, you see more number of resources, more number of servers are needed for your application environment, and then later point of time you don't need the same level of uh, configuration. In those scenarios, uh, auto scaling will definitely helps you to add more number of instances dynamically and to release them as and when you really don't need them. Okay, so like I said, auto scaling helps you ensure that you have the correct instance number for your application. You can specify minimum number of instances in each auto scaling group, and an auto scaling group ensures that you have the specified number of instances available through the year. For example, let's say you say, hey, no matter what, I need minimum of two servers to be running all the time. It will make sure you have two servers. If at all a server or both or the server fail for some reason, it makes sure it automatically launches additional two servers to respect the minimum configuration that you've specified. You can also specify maximum number of instances in an auto scaling group, and auto scaling ensures that your group never runs out of the size. For example, you say minimum I need two servers, but the load when the load increases to 80 percentage or 90 percentage, I want you to add one more server. Then it adds one, it becomes the total group size becomes three. Let's say still though you added another server, the group utilization is still running at 90 percentage. So as per the condition, the auto scaling have to add one more server, it becomes four. It's still running, at 90 percentage, it has to add five, six. So there will be instances where the condition that you specify, the utilization especially, right, if it keeps hitting the threshold value you configure, then it may provision unlimited number of instances, right? Maybe that application that you are using is a test application, or maybe a application that will not generate any revenue for your company, but you just just created that website and running that website for the purpose of information only to the customers. In those scenarios, it really doesn't make sense, running many number of instances for the same application. Or let's say for a given application you have a budget constraints, right? End of the month you cannot have maybe more than 10,000 USD of a bill of that particular application, right? So you can do that mathematics game on your Excel sheet or somewhere, and you can come to a conclusion. Okay, at any given point of time, my application environment cannot have more than 4 servers. You just specify, hey, minimum of 2, maximum of 4, right? So it makes sure that you have at least 2 servers running all the time. And if at all, as per the scaling policy, right, you say if it hits 90 percentage it adds 1, it still continues 90 percentage, it adds 1 more, that becomes 4. As you said, maximum is 4. It will make sure you never run more than 4 instances in a group, right? Optionally, you can also specify the desired capacity. Okay, when you specify the desired capacity, it's like that is a number of instances that you need. A minimum is being the very base, very minimum, which cannot be 0, and the desired must always between minimum and maximum. Okay, and you can also specify the scaling policies. Like I said, you can configure a condition like, hey, when the group utilization is 90 percentage, add 1. When the group utilization come down to 30 percentage, remove 1. That way you can specify the conditions, and based on the condition it just adds or terminates the instances. So auto scaling is a mechanism that uh, that helps you maintain the correct number of instances for your application. Okay, so that way you can really take the advantage of the cloud features that we've been talking about all this while. The on demand provisioning, pay as you go, right? To take the advantage of all these features, we definitely need a feature, a service, something like auto scaling, that dynamically monitors the application demand, and as and when the demand increases, it just adds more number of servers. Okay, so this is one of the diagram that talks about what if there is an instance that is dead. Well, it automatically adds a new instance. Okay, this is one scenario. There can be maybe the utilization based condition which says if it is 80 percentage, well, you please add one more instance. If it is 90 percentage, you please add one more instance, right? So that way it can be to maintain the current instance levels, that is 2, 1 dead, so it is adding one more to meet the condition, or it can be based on the utilization as well. Okay, and to talk about the benefits of auto scaling, well, the first one in the list is cost saving, right? One of the biggest advantage of using auto scaling is the cost saving. How? Well, certainly when you need more resources, that is when your application needs more resources, it automatically adds more. And then uh, when it really don't need, then dynamically um, you can release the servers back. Well, do you remember when we talk about EC2 instances, I said your EC2 instance support both scale up and scale out, right? Scale out is adding more number of servers to the same application, and scale up is if it is 2 GB RAM and 2 CPUs, making it to 8 GB RAM and maybe 16 CPUs or anything, just increasing the configuration of a same server. A scale up is not a friendly kind of feature, because even to do a scale up you have to bring down the EC2 instance, change the instance type. Even to scale down, that is scale up or scale down, you again have to shut down the instance and change the instance type. Okay, so in both the situations you have to shut down the server. That would definitely cause outage, service disconnection to the users, right? So that is the reason the scale out is a better approach. When you add more number of instances, well, there is a ELB that automatically adjusts the load dynamically to the available number of servers. When you just scale in, by terminating the instances, your ELB will automatically adjust the load accordingly. All right. So by which you can achieve the cost scaling as cost saving as a feature, and it is ease of use because it's one-time configuration that you do, and it automatically monitors your environment, automatically adds and terminates the instances. You really do not have to manually do anything. Even for the initial configuration, you can do that using the AWS web interface, or you can configure it using the command line interface as well. But 90% of the times we use the web interface because that is very much easy, and that's meant for the administrators. And you can have the scheduled actions. Well, we will talk about it in detail when we go to the scaling policies. But otherwise, the scheduled scaling policies will also help you to schedule the application to have more number of servers, and the same schedule will help you to come in when the scale in the number of instances. And you can also, of course, the auto scaling also supports the geographic redundancy and the scalability, meaning auto scaling can add more instances across the availability zones. It is not just in a single availability zone, but your auto scaling can spread your instances across multiple availability zones in a region, but you cannot have instances spread across the regions. It must be within a region across the availability zones. And it's again easier maintenance, fault tolerance. It is easy to maintain because it is a one-time setup, and fault tolerant because it automatically takes care of the failover and failback with the help of ELB. Right? There is no manual intervention. Right? So these are the few out of the huge list of advantages or benefits of auto scaling. Well, definitely this is a for sure question in your interview, asking you to talk about the benefits of auto scaling. And like I said, well, of course, not this one. Let me skip this slide because we have the same slide coming later. So auto scaling components. Auto scaling have several components, right? So to see, auto scaling group is the first one, and then launch configuration, scaling policies. Okay, auto scaling group, launch configuration, and scaling policies or scaling plans are the three components that are part of auto scaling. Let's see them in detail. Firstly, launch configuration. A launch configuration is the template that auto scaling uses to create new instances. For example, we've been talking about auto scaling, and I said it automatically adds more number of servers to the same application, right? But the question here is how Amazon will decide which instance type to be added, which AMI to be chosen, which security group should be selected, which key must be used, right? All those inputs. Who will give you all those inputs? How Amazon will decide on it, right? It's a basic question. Well, of course, Amazon will not take that decision, but you have to create a template with all those your choices for those inputs, and that is called the launch configuration. Okay, so to launch an instance, whatever the inputs that you give manually, you compose all those inputs into a configuration, and you call that as a launch configuration. And the default limit for the launch configuration is 100 per region, and if you exceed this, your further launch configuration deployments will fail. But of course, I believe 100 is fair enough in a region, that we will not cross 100 launch configurations in a region. However, autoscaling may cause you to reach the limit of the other services. For example, in a given region, you can have maximum of 20 instances, not more than that. That's the soft limit we have. So when you go for autoscaling, when you use autoscaling may push you to reach the 20 number of instances soft limit easily, because it automatically scales your environment. It automatically adds more number of instances. So be sure about it. Okay. So just to conclude the slide, that is launch configuration. It is about the template, or it is about a configuration with all the inputs that are needed to launch an instance. And then the scaling group. Scaling group is actually a collection of EC2 instances managed by an auto scaling service, right? Each auto scaling group contains configuration options that control when auto scaling should launch a new instance and when it should terminate the instances. It is a kind of a brain or a backend engine that takes the decision on when to launch an instance, when to terminate, and it is a logical container of the EC2 instances that are part of a same scaling group. At the time of creating an auto scaling group, you must have to specify minimum number of instances, maximum number of instances. Optionally, you can also specify the desired number of instances. If you don't specify the desired capacity, well, the minimum number of instances is considered as the desired capacity. And the other important point, and that can be asked in your certification, that can be asked in your interview, is uh, your auto scaling only supports either on demand or spot instances, but it will not support reserved instances. Anybody tell me why? What is the reason that uh, Amazon auto scaling only supports on demand or spot instances? Quickly, any guesses? Any guesses? Why will it not support?
Dedicated.
Well, auto scaling, as the name says, and we understand the concept of it, that is to add the instances, remove the instances dynamically. And the concept of reserved instances is we will be reserving an instance for a year or three as per the reservation policy. So there is no point in adding the reserved instances and removing them dynamically, isn't it? Yes, that is the reason your auto scaling group can either use on demand or use spot instances, but it cannot use reserved instances part of it. And again, you cannot mix on demand and the spot instances part of the same scaling group. Okay. And then to talk about the scaling policies, like I said, we have four. First one in the list is maintain current instance levels, meaning you will be specifying, okay, hey, my group size is 2 forever. Okay, I don't want to reduce the size by 1, or I don't want to increase the size by 3, I mean that is to 3 or 1, but I want 2 to be maintained all the time. Or let's say somebody says, hey, I just need one server to be uh, just one server to my application all the time. I don't want 2, I don't want 0 as well, right? Even in that situation, you can go for auto scaling, and you can say, hey, maintain current instance levels, that is 1 all the time. And for some reason that 1 fails, auto scaling will immediately deploy a new server to catch up the current instance levels that you specify, that is to be compliant. Okay, so 90% of the times, people whoever go for the cloud for one server, you please suggest them, strongly advise them go for auto scaling. Though you need one server, it is still advised you go for auto scaling, because you, let's say on a given Sunday midnight the server failed, and you really do not have to call up your server administrator or a cloud admin to check on the server status, but auto scaling automatically recovers the instance, and it just brings your application up and running. Okay. And manual scaling, well, you can always go to the group size. Maybe let's say at the time of creating a group, if you say 2 is a minimum and 2 is this is minimum, this is the desired capacity, and 2 is a maximum also, anytime you can go there and change these numbers dynamically. You just can go there and change the numbers. That's called the manual scaling. Okay. And the third one is the scheduled scaling, wherein, like I said, there can be an event that may be occurring. It can be a weekend entertainment site that you run. You need more capacity by Friday evening, you can schedule it, and by Monday morning, you can schedule it to reduce the number of instances. It may be a payroll application that you're running end of the month or mid of the month. Whenever you run your payroll, you need more capacity. It may be a reporting tool that you operate, every month or every quarter of time you need more resources to be available to that reporting tool. So if you know by a certain time of a week of or a month or a year you need more capacity, you just can schedule it so that it provisions the more number of servers automatically. And finally, you've got dynamic scaling, which continuously monitors your application environment. And you can specify your conditions. Hey, you only add more number of instances when my application is running at 85% of utilization. Okay, so when you say 85% is the threshold, when my application operates for 5 minutes at 80%, 85% of utilization, will add one instance, that is plus one. If it is, even though you add one more and it still operates at same 85 percentage, right, then you still add one more. Okay. Of course, it is like you can monitor any parameter. It's not necessarily the CPU utilization. You can monitor for the network latency. You say whenever the network latency equals to 10 milliseconds, add one more instance. Or the disk latency becomes maybe 70 milliseconds, add one more instance. Or the network uh, traffic, when the network traffic hits 100 mbps, maybe add one more. Maybe network traffic hits maybe 10,000 packets per second, add one more instance. So there are many parameters that you can monitor and configure your conditions, right? And your auto scaling works based on your conditions, right? So okay, so that is about your dynamic scaling. These are the four scaling policies that are available part of your auto scaling. And then there is something like best practices around the scaling policies. So the recommended best practice is to scale out quickly and to scale in slowly so that you can respond to the bursts or spikes, but avoid inadequately terminating the EC2 instances, right? So for example, at 11 a.m. the it is running at 85 percentage, right? You added one more instance, and maybe 11:05 it come down to just 40 percentage, so you've terminated that instance. And 11:10 it again went to 85 percentage, so you added one more, and another 5 minutes it come down to 40 percentage again, so you've terminated that. Uh, that way within few minutes of time you would see the instances are getting added and they are getting removed. If you configure the scale out and scale in at a same interval, that is the reason it is strongly advised that you scale out quickly and to scale in slowly. Okay, so yeah, scale out quickly and to scale in slowly. That way when you launch an instance you are anyways paying for the full hour, right? You are anyways paying for the full hour. You run it for 5 minutes or you run it for 59 minutes, it's the same bill that you are paying. And in server world we know, like at times the spike goes to 90, it come down and it immediately go to 90, right? You give enough cooling period for your server utilization to come down, come normal, and then you take action. That's where it is advised that you do a scale out quickly and scale in slowly. All right, so that is to explain the best practices in the area, and this is how the auto scaling diagram looks like. That you have a route 53 entry made for your elastic load balancer, because ELB and auto scaling is a dynamic solution. Because let's say uh, now it is like four instances you have got in auto scaling group. Two are in availability zone 1 and two are in other availability zone, total 4. For some reason if you scale in by removing a server here, removing a server here, there are only two left. So when there are two, ELB will dynamically adjust the load. Okay, and when it again makes it to 4, it dynamically adjusts the load for 4 servers. That is the reason it is strongly advised that you mix ELB and auto scaling together to reap the benefits of a powerful, uh, highly scalable, highly fault tolerant environment. But the other example that I said, if you just have only one server, okay, if you just have only one server and you wanted to maintain that one server through the year, but you really do not want to add more number of servers, then don't add ELB, but you add EIP, elastic IP address, because ELB is a chargeable service. However, auto scaling is a free of cost. There is no additional charge uh, for there is no additional charge for using auto scaling, because whenever you add more number of instances, you are anyways paying for the instances, right? But when you use ELB, there is a price involved. That is the reason when you go for one instance uh, deployment, then better you go for elastic IP address, so that the IP address will not change, and you get a constant endpoint for the servers. But when you plan to go for more than two servers or more than one server, that's when you better go for ELB based deployment, so that your end user will connect to the ELB instead of directly to the servers. That's the ideal way of configuring it, right? So that brings us to the end of the discussion. Well, you guys got to know about auto scaling, that is to dynamically add instances, remove to get the cost benefits. And you have seen the scaling policies: current instance levels, manual, scheduled, and dynamic. And you have seen the other two components also, that is auto scaling group and launch configuration. Auto scaling group is a brain that actually takes a decision on when to add an instance, when to remove an instance. And uh, launch configuration um, is about the template with the predefined configuration or pre-defined inputs to launch an instance, to launch a server. And finally, auto scaling and the ELB is a powerful solution. So let's talk about the lab now. So to do auto scaling, right? So what do you think is needed? Can anybody tell me quickly what do we need in order to start deploying the auto scaling? Okay, EC2. What else? ELB. Okay. Route 53. Okay. Well, it's basic, right? We've discussed, for you to create a log, for you to create an auto scaling, there are three components: launch configuration. And launch configuration is about the template, right? It is a pre-configured inputs. So what are the inputs? You need instance type. Okay, you need AMI. Well, generic AMI will not do for our purpose, because our EC2 instance is configured with the application on it. If this fails and you launch a mission with an operating system only but not the application, and that doesn't solve the purpose. Okay, that's where you need your application on the server. How do you get your application onto it? By configuring an AMI. So here you have to configure your custom AMI. Okay, you need to have a custom AMI prepared. So our first step is going to be uh, you know generate AMI with our application, right? So to generate an AMI, what you need to launch an EC2 instance, configure application. So what application are we going to deploy? It's the same sample application that we have used yesterday, part of the load balancer. sample application. Once we generate the AMI, then we start create launch configuration, create auto scaling group, and we will talk about, we will configure the policies. We'll configure policies later, because initially we will start with the very basic number of instances, and of course before that we need ELB, right? So this is the order. You first need an AMI to be generated with operating system and our application, and then you need to create a load balancer, create launch configuration, auto scaling group, and play around with the policies, right? So let's quickly get started with step number one, to create the AMI. So it is console.aws.amazon.com. And of course, you cannot see auto scaling in the services dashboard here. You will not find auto scaling here in the dashboard. If I say auto scaling, you will not find it. You can only see auto scaling part of EC2 service. In the left hand side, if I just come here, you see there is an auto scaling group. Okay, so as per the lab, as per the plan that we've drafted here, we need to generate an AMI. How do you generate an AMI? Well, we have to use EC2 and configure our application, then convert that as an AMI. So say launch instance, we are in Mumbai region, select. Of course, free instance is something that we are interested in. One instance is enough for us, and I really don't care in which availability zone the instance get deployed. Add storage, the tag, I say name, auto scaling base instance. Say the security group, well, open to everything, and launch the instance. Launch. So the instance is getting deployed. Well, this is the IP address. Well, we have logged into the instance now. So what is next? So quickly, I'm sorry. So quickly, we will be installing sudo m install php. Okay, there is a typo. So of course, PHP automatically installs the dependent components on it, and then vi var html php is a file that we need to create, and we will be copying the application code that is readily available with me. It's the same code that we have used yesterday. Okay, it's the same code. It says welcome to AWS auto scaling. You are in virtual classroom with Venkat Kurela and the server that you are connected to, and it is printing the IP address. Just to realize that with the help of IP address, we can realize every time we connect to is a new server. When you fail a server and a new server get creates automatically, we can see a new IP address coming in there as well, right? So that is just to make sure that the service is started after the reboot, and I must see the application is running up and running now. Let's quickly have a look at it, right? We have the server up and running with the application. What should we do now? Quickly we convert this into an AMI. How do we do that? Right click on the instance, go to image here and say create an image, and you have to give a image name. I say ASG auto scaling base image, and I say this AMI has HTTPD PHP and application hosted on it. And of course description can be anything that you would like to put, and I say create an AMI. Once you complete that wizard, you just go in the left hand side under the images, you see AMIs, and this is the one that is just getting ready. ASG base image. Well, of course there is one more AMI. Let me delete it quickly. Deregister, say delete. Okay, so this is our mission that says that is still in pending. It takes a minute or two at max. So now we have got the AMI generated. Let's quickly go to the step number 2, that is to launch an ELB. Right? By the time we complete ELB, the EC2 instance, I mean that is AMI must also be ready. Let's quickly go to ELB. So on the left hand side, the load balancers, and I say create a load balancer, the classic load balancer, continue. Well, the name is ASG ELB, auto scaling ELB, and I really do not want an internal load balancer. HTTP should be fine. Security group is also fine, and well, it is index.php is what I wanted to do a health check, and you guys know what am I doing here. Instead of a TCP check, I'm doing HTTP so that it loads the application and decides if it is working fine or not. And if I wanted to add an instance now itself, I can do that, or else I can wait auto scaling to deploy a machine. Name, and I say ASG ELB. Okay, review and create the load balancer. Well, we know it's very quick. The load balancer is created in a matter of minute. ASG ELB, and the host A record is ready for us. Let's go back to the AMI and see if this is the AMI is ready for us. Well, it is still in process, but I don't. It seems that is already deleted. It's a matter that the screen is yet to be refreshed. But this is the AMI that we need to use. Okay, the step number 2 is also done. The next step that we need to look at is creating the launch configuration. That automatically takes you through creating an auto scaling group, but auto scaling policies will be we will be looking into the later point of time. Okay, let's quickly go to step number 3 and 4 to create a launch configuration. Okay, so now the AMI becomes available, ASG base image, and the other one went off if you see, and I come to here auto scaling to the auto scaling groups. All right, when I say create auto scaling group, it is a wizard that will take you through two steps. Step one is to create a launch configuration. Step two is to create an auto scaling group. Okay, and you see, first define a template that your auto scaling group will use to launch an instance. This template is about the inputs that auto scaling has to use to launch an instance, and auto scaling group is basically the brain that takes the decision on when to add an instance, when to remove instance. That is by integrating a CloudWatch with auto scaling group. I say create launch configuration. Now you have to choose an AMI. Well, you should not choose a regular generic AMI because this do not have any application on it. I need to go to my AMIs here, and you see this AMI has HTTPD, PHP and sample application hosted on it. This is the one that we have created. I choose it. An instance type, well, on demand general purpose free instance is what we are choosing, and I need to give a name of it. It's, let's say, launch configuration ASG1. So I say launch configuration 1 ASG1. That tells us clearly, okay, this launch configuration is part of ASG1. If you wanted to add spot instances, you just know the process of bidding. And if you wanted to add any IAM role, you can do that. If you wanted to add or enable the detail monitoring, you can do that as well. And in the advanced configuration, you need to pass on the bootstrapping script that we will look at it later, and we say add storage. It's 8 GB, the standard that we wanted to follow. Security group configuration, well, the existing security group that I would like to follow. Review, create, and this is a key file. If you remember, these are the inputs that we give to an instance when we manually launch an instance, isn't it? The same we have followed to create a launch configuration. And now this is a prompt to create auto scaling group, because if you remember, that was a wizard that is driving us through both the steps. Okay, so now I say ASG1 launch configuration 1. So this is the other way, right? This auto scaling group 1 connected to launch configuration 1. Start the group size with one instance. This is what the scaling policy called maintain current instance levels. So it always maintains one instance no matter what. And this is a VPC that we wanted to use, and there are two subnets that we must use for our lab. Okay, one is into 1A availability zone, the other is into 1B. In case if you did not add any of the availability zone here, then it will not place an instance into that availability zone. Okay, so make sure when you actually give all those inputs, you are giving the inputs as per the design plan from your solution architect, or if at all you design the solution, you are giving the right inputs. And in the advanced details, well, you are receiving the traffic from a load balancer, because auto scaling will not give you any direct endpoint. Okay, so say receive the traffic, and ASGELB is the load balancer that we have created. And health checks grace period is like, I wanted to give 60 seconds because I really do not wanted to wait for a long time in this particular lab. Move on to the next. I wanted to maintain this group size forever. We will talk about the scaling policies later point of time. Let's do the basic stuff, right? We'll do the very basics initially. If you wanted to add any notification, well, you guys know how to do how to configure an SNS topic, right? Create an SNS topic saying auto scaling notifications, and whenever an instance is launched, terminated, failed to launch, failed to terminate, you will get the notifications. But for this lab, I am choosing the CPU alerts as an SNS topic to receive the notifications. Whoever have subscribed to that topic would receive the notifications. Configure tags. So remember guys, the name that you give will be the name given to the EC2 instances that are automatically deployed. I say ASG sample application. So all your instances that are automatically deployed by this auto scaling group will have this as a name. You review it, create auto scaling group. That's all. The auto scaling group has been created. You see there is an explanatory mark. that says instances may be in process of launching or terminating in order to match the desired capacity. We did not give the desired capacity. That automatically took, we did not give minimum, we did not give maximum. I just said maintain one instance level. Okay, so on the other hand side, it just triggered an email notification to me. You can see that email here. 0 minutes ago, it says a test notification for ASG LC1. Right? The service is AWS auto scaling. The time, request ID, event, test notification. That is to check the notifications are working for you. Maybe we will see later point of time when the instances are launched. You see now the instance become 1 instead of 0. And if you see the details, it's the same configuration that you selected, but I do not want this 300 seconds to be the default cooling period. Let's say just the 60 seconds. But ideally in a production environment you would have 10 or 15 minutes as a cooling period. Since it is a lab, we do not have, we should not wait for a long time. And if I go to the activity history, you see there is a launch new instance activity, that is 67FA9, an instance that is automatically deployed by an auto scaling group. Let me go to the instances console here and see if there is a second instance that got deployed. You see the second instance that got deployed, whose name is AWS sample application. Okay, now we really don't need this instance. I just say terminate, because that was a base image that we have created to just launch the AMI. Right, now that we have the AMI available and the auto scaling group is configured, we really don't need it. However, this instance is automatically launched by the auto scaling group, resulting which ASG sample application is a label that we give to auto scaling. The same name is given here. Okay, you can directly try to access this application from the server itself. Now you see 2.236 is the IP address, wherein 2.236 is the IP address. Alternatively, you can go to the load balancer here and take the endpoint of it. Take the endpoint of it and access it. That should also work for you. Right? So I'm going to ping you that in the chart window, the ELB name. You guys can try it and let me know quickly. Quickly. Yes, it is working. Okay. Now I just go back to the auto scaling here, auto scaling group. And you guys see one instance, one desired, one minimum, 1 0. Activity history says that there is one instance that was launched, time, end time, and all that stuff. When I go to scaling policies, we do not have any other scaling policies, but this is a fixed policy that I said, hey, you maintain one instance all the time. You can look into the instances. Currently, there is only one instance that is in service. I can go to monitoring and you can look at the group utilization, number of healthy instances, number of instances that are terminated, and all that stuff. I can go to the notifications and reconfigure the notification, tags, reconfigure them, scheduled actions, that is the schedule policy. Here is where you can configure it. Let's start testing the things out. Right? We said, hey, you maintain one instance all the time. I go to EC2 instance here and I fail the instance. we will see if auto scaling dynamically detects the failure and launches a new instance or not. Okay, I go here, say terminate an instance, and we've asked it to maintain one instance level all the time, and without the auto scaling knowledge that we've terminated an instance. Let's see what happens. It still did not detect the change, that the failure. Well, I go to activity history here. I'll keep an eye. Before that, I just want to go to load balancer and change one setting, that is connection draining from 300 settings to 300 seconds to 30, just to make sure that I will not wait for too long, or auto scaling will not wait for too long before, yeah, it immediately triggered that there are no healthy instances. Just go back here and come back to auto scaling. Just refresh the stuff. It still did not detect the failure of an instance. Okay, we'll just wait and see what happens. We'll just wait and see what happens here. You see, it says terminating the instance, that is 67FA9, which is the one that we have terminated. 67FA9, the instance ID. It is terminating the instance from the configuration. Of course, terminating means it is cleaning the configuration saying the instance is failed, and it is launching a new instance with ID 58E, DB58E. If I go to the instances console, refresh it one more time, you see there is a new one that is about to launch. Within few minutes, you would see the label is also configured, and that should be started, that should be ready to take the load. You see, now the label is also configured. Maybe it takes a minute of time to become available, but let's try to load the same ELB endpoint that we have. Well, it started. Can you guys try and let me know it's the same happening with you? That auto scaling application started working, whose IP address is 172.31.72.08, right? So practically, we have configured an auto scaling group to maintain the current instance levels forever. We have failed an instance that still, you know, that still try to recover. I mean, that is by adding a new instance, made an attempt to maintain the current instance levels, that is one, right? So working fine. Then have a look at it, the manual scaling. Manual scaling is what I said. We can manually go there and change the number of instances. I say edit, and I said the desired and minimum, sorry, desired must always be greater than minimum, right? If I say minimum is 2, and desired is 1, try to save it. You see, desired capacity must be between minimum and maximum. So I have to change the desired as well. Save. But I still cannot save because maximum is set to 1. Minimum, maximum cannot be less than minimum. Don't confuse, guys. It's very simple. And I save it. Now it's desired is 2, minimum is 2, maximum is 2. Or I can also configure maximum can be, I say, 4. Save it. It still try to maintain 2 instances because I said minimum and desired capacity is 2. Let's give it enough time, maybe another minute or two. You see, it already started launching an instance that is to match the 2 number of servers. If I go to EC2 management console in same Mumbai location, you see there is a new instance that is getting launched. Let me filter the list by saying instance state equals to running. so that I can only filter the instances that are in running state, I just refresh it. I refresh it again and again. Both the servers are coming online. When I try to reload the load balancer, it is not loading the other IP because maybe the instance is not in service. Well, it is in service now. Let's say refresh it. I go to the load balancer and try to reload it one more time. You see now it is shuffling between 217 and 208. Can you guys try and let me know if it is the same with you? Can you guys try and let me know? Yes, it is, right? The other important thing that I want you to recognize or notice is one instance is in 1A availability zone, the other is in 1B availability zone. So that is just to make sure the geographical level failover fault tolerance is given to you. If entire availability zone goes down, the other is automatically available. In case if you fail 1A, it deploys a new instance in 1A availability zone only. It will never put an instance into 1B because it has to maintain that distribution across the availability zones. Okay, so now that we have tried scale out, let's manually do a scale in by editing. I say desired is 1, minimum is also 1, maximum can be 4, no matter. You see there is again an explanatory mark. We will again wait for a minute or two. We'll see if an instance is dynamic is removed to match the desired capacity or not. And you see when an instance is added, a load balancer automatically distributed the load. And now we will see when an instance is removed, we will first see if the instance will be removed or not. If at all it is removed, we will see if the load balancer automatically adjusts the load or not. You see, terminating an EC2 instance because that is to match the desired capacity. Well, while all these changes are happening, there are many mails triggered to my email ID. Okay, that is to say the current happenings in the environment. You can see them 11 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago, and all the mails are stating, right, cause a user request update of auto scaling group constraints to minimum, maximum is 2, desired is 2. That is to change the number of instances from 1 to 2 instances, and the date and time, that is 2 minutes ago. And the 4 minutes ago one was uh, an instance was started in response to the difference between desired and the actual capacity, increasing the capacity from 0 to 1. This is when we've created a group. Okay, and this is when 11 minutes ago that a test notification was sent out. Now when this termination is actually triggered, once it is executed, you would see there is one more mail comes in. Right, termination is completed. When I refresh the entire screen, you see there is one instance, one instance, one instance. When I go to the instances, refresh it, there is only one remain in there. When I try to work with the load balancer, see what happens. It is 217 that it always pointing to, never throwing you an error that the other server is not available. And if I show you, this is 0 minutes ago, you can see uh, a user request update of auto scaling constraint. It is a user request update. You see, it is a manual update. Okay, so changing the desired capacity from 2 to 1 at so and so time, an instance was taken out of service in response to the difference between desired capacity and the actual capacity. Right, the mail is very clear. Now maybe let's say to talk about the dynamic scaling policies, right? We write a policy, scaling policy, saying, hey, whenever my EC2 instance is running 80 percentage, then you please add one more instance. Okay, I say scale out and average CPU utilization. Say create an alarm. That alarm definition is when average CPU utilization greater than or equals to 80 percentage for at least one consecutive period of 5 minutes, then this should be the alarm name, CPU utilization of ASG, auto scaling group. This is the alarm. Okay, and I need to specify the condition. This is an alarm. Alarm says, hey, whenever the CPU utilization is greater than or equals to 80 percentage, one consecutive period of 300 seconds, that is continuously for 5 minutes, add one instance is the action that I'm saying, and then wait for so and so seconds. Wait for so and so seconds. If you still see it's greater than or equals to 80 for 300 seconds, add one more. It continue to happen. So this is called the cooling period. Well, I keep that as 60 seconds, or I can have more than that. Since it is a lab environment, that's fine, and I create an alarm. I can add one more policy saying scale in when average CPU utilization, create an alarm, is less than or equals to 40 percentage for at least one consecutive period of low CPU utilization of ASG. When it is less than 40 percentage, what do you want me to do? Well, you please remove an instance. Okay, and I say create. So I have a scale out policy, I have a scale in policy. Scale out policy says if the CPU utilization is more than 80 percentage for 300 seconds, it adds an instance, and it continue to add until the CPU utilization is less than 80 percentage. If the CPU utilization is less than 40 percentage for 300 seconds, and then it removes an instance. It removes the instances, but it at least it at least keeps minimum of 1. It will never cross maximum of 4. That is anyways there. Okay, right, now we have created a policy, and as per the policy, the current CPU utilization of the instance is definitely below the 40. We know it. So when it is below the 40, you may ask a question, Venkat, the scaling policy must remove this instance. Well, it will not, because we said minimum must be 1. When you have two instances and the utilization is less than 40, that's when it removes an instance, but it has to maintain one instance at least, a maximum of 4. Now we will make an attempt. uh, we will force the EC2 instance to cross the CPU utilization, to cross 80% of the CPU utilization. How do we do that? Well, with the help of uh, the stress command. With the help of a stress command, appearance change 20 percentage, fine, session authentication, browse the key file, open. So to try the things out, I'm going to install a utility called stress. So this one will help us simulate some load. If you have something like load tester kind of tools, load runner, that tool also helps you to simulate some more load onto the EC2 instance. But I'm just using uh, stress utility, maybe 40 hogs of load, timeout for what, 700 seconds, let's say. Now it is dispatching 40 hogs of load. It is not 40% of the loads, it is 40 hogs of load for 700 seconds continuously. Okay, that should definitely add more than 80% of the CPU load. But remember, our condition says the utilization must be more than 80 percentage for 5 minutes continuously. So let's monitor the server and see what happens. And as per the policy that we have configured, it automatically adds a new instance, isn't it? It should. And see what happens. If you see, it just hit 89 percentage now, and then it needs another 4 minutes of time to trigger that auto scaling action. So when I go to auto scaling group in the activity history, it's normal because this is yet to this the scaling policy yet to trigger, because it is not it still not yet met the condition of 5 minutes. Well, it hit 100 percentage, meaning constantly it run 2 minutes, that is more than 80 percentage, and we have to wait 3 more minutes to meet the condition to launch a new instance. So this is called the dynamic scaling policy. So we have seen maintain the current instance levels, we have seen manual scaling, and now we are looking at the dynamic scaling. Yeah, it hit 100 percentage. So it's been 3 minutes, or it's close to 4 minutes, and then at max another 1 minute of time is needed to meet the condition. So what do you guys think while it is happening? Do you think will it happen? Guys, do you think auto scaling will provision a new instance upon the next hit of another dot here? I'm just shuffling between the screens just to check out if the auto scaling trigger the alarm or not, because there is one more point that it has to touch. Yeah, there you go. You see, now there is an explanatory mark. It says instances may be in process of launching or terminating in order to match the desired capacity. So desired capacity is 2 now. Okay, there is an alarm that is triggered, an email notification that is triggered to me. This is it. 0 minutes ago, you can see that. And you are receiving this email because Amazon CloudWatch alarm CPU utilization of ASG in AP South 1 region has entered the alarm state because the threshold crossed one data point, so and so time was equal or greater than 80 percentage that we have configured. Okay, so you can see the alarm definition and everything over here. But going back to the auto scaling group, if I refresh it one more time, you see launch of a new instances is actually initiated now, just now. If I go to instances, so I refresh it one more time, there you see a second instance is coming up. Okay, within a minute you would find when I try to reload this, You see, it is shuffling between 317 and 18217. If we do not have this IP address printed here, we see no difference between connecting to two servers. That's one of the reason I'm printing the IP address. Okay, you guys can try it at your side and let me know if it is the same, that a newly launched instance is automatically adjusting the load as per the configuration or not. So quickly, yes, nice. So we have seen all the labs in detail so far, and if I let it run maybe another few minutes, you would find the utilization come down below 40 percentage. So the instance is automatically taken out of the group because we have a scaling policy also defined here. When the utilization is less than 40 for 5 minutes, it automatically takes off an instance out of the group. Right? So do you guys have any questions? As per our lab definition here, that we have practiced everything out there uh, in auto scaling. So do you guys have any questions?